Tiger Woods is by far the greatest golfer to ever walk the earth, but he is still a man.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.
Eldrick Taunt Woods, aka Tiger Woods. I was super interested in this documentary because I've followed Tiger throughout my life because of my grandfather, who I referred to as Papa. And man, I just remember those like weekends, that particular Sunday of him cheering for this man. To me, this man was just overall just an inspiration. This man was a likable, you wanted to root for this man. It never had to do with really race at all. It just happened that my grandpa loved the hell out of this guy because this guy was fierce, competitive, yet he seemed like he had a soft side. And I kind of felt that way too. And I loved sharing those moments with my papa, watching Tiger Woods and his accomplishments, him making these unbelievable putts, unbelievable shots, and really showcasing like he was the Michael Jordan of golf. But just like Michael Jordan, yes, he's the greatest at his particular sport, but he's still a man. HBO, the people who did this documentary, are saying, especially with the people they brought in who were close to Tiger, they knew that Tiger wouldn't really appreciate this documentary series of him. He's not in it. He's not talking in it. He's not doing it. These are past interviews. These are former lovers. These are former friends. These are friends. These are people coming into this, telling their story and their relationship with Tiger and what they think happened to Tiger in his downfall and then his uprise. So watching this documentary series, I was like, oh man, this is going to be definitely something that Tiger is not absolutely going to like. But after watching the 2-part series, I think Tiger should appreciate this, honestly. I think I appreciate this, honestly, because this documentary is not really shining a bad light at Tiger at all. Even though there is moments in the documentary series where I'm like, okay, do you really have to showcase these private moments? Which example is in the documentary series, we meet his high school sweetheart. And she showcases a letter that Tiger wrote to her for the breakup, and it had to do with his father, his mother, saying you need to break up with this woman and he's been with her like since high school and going into, I believe, after college. Like he's been with her for a while, and he felt betrayed, this and that, and you could just tell by her reading this letter that it wasn't Tiger's words, it was his parents' words saying, hey, we got to call this right now. So I'm like, okay, that's a personal letter, and it's signed by Tiger, and I didn't really like the thought of like that being aired, because I'm like, come on, I mean, that's between you guys. Of course, maybe you're in this documentary series to maybe gain a little bit of money out of this, but continue to watch this series, or continue to watch this documentary, and then seeing what the director wanted to do with this story, and then how he handled a lot of, from beginning to middle to where he is currently. I came away with it knowing more of Tiger Woods, the man, than the golfer, and I appreciated knowing the man more, because the man doesn't have to be perfect. People have faults. People make mistakes. It's how crazy the mistakes are, how bad the mistakes are, and how much you could bounce back, and how genuine you could be to be sorry for those mistakes. And I felt like Tiger was actually very genuine for a lot of the things he's done. And not only that, he got caught with the infidelity, but looking at his early years and how, I couldn't believe, because I knew Tiger Woods, but I didn't know the whole story, and knowing about his relationship with his father and how young Tiger really was in the game. This dude was putting when he was 2 years old. I mean, this guy had a golf club in his hands, and earlier than that. His father, Earl Woods, knew he had something super special, and he grabbed onto that, and he made Tiger practice probably every single day. They really recount how he didn't allow him to do any other sport. And a lot of people felt like Earl Woods was really kind of, yes, they had a very close relationship, but Earl Woods wasn't the nicest man in the world, you know? And we kind of get a glimpse of, you know, Tiger reflecting his father, doing the same things that his father did. And I think, I truly believe, as the people that we are today is what our upbringing has made us. You know, our parents, what their parenting skills, the things they've done, we've kind of like latched onto, and then we proceed to go forward with it later down the line. Maybe not the same way, but something similar. I love old school music. I've been listening to old school music all my life. I just love it today. It's thanks for my mother. I'm a hard worker. When I have to work hard, that's from my father. You know, there's things that we grasp onto when we're growing up from our parents and our upbringing. And I think Tiger's the same way. His father pushed him so much competitiveness. And then even his mother too. His mother was right there along the journey, pushing him to strive to be the greatest. Not be second, not be third, but really putting on, you are going to be the greatest because you have this gift. The good thing is his father believed in him. If you watch a documentary series, you knew right away there was no way you were going to convince Earl Woods that Tiger wasn't going to be number one. We have the NFL, we have Major League Baseball, we have the NBA, but people would go watch Tiger Woods play and dominate. And it was something super magical. I remember a lot of the matches that those early 2000s, him just dominating everybody. Tiger this, Tiger that. Greatness has always a look. Of course, you don't become great unless you showcase your greatness, but they have that look to them. Michael Jordan, tongue out, armband, the shoes, the Air Jordans, the bald head, Tupac Shakur, the bandana, the nose ring, the look, this fashion. Tiger, the hat, the red shirt, the Nike logo, the fist pump. This guy was like, he had the image, but knowing how much it cost him though. We, as the media, the fans, we presumed he was a squeaky clean guy, being married, having kids. You know, we didn't think Tiger could do no wrong. And this documentary shows you that, yes, Tiger has all this money. He's only he was I think he turned pro when he was like 20, 22. This guy has all the money in the world. And if you give anybody all the money in the world and you don't say no to him, to her, whatever, they'll make mistakes. People make mistakes with all this power, especially in a young age and going forward and still being young, even in early 30s or 30, you will still make mistakes. And that's what the documentary kind of really showcases that. I mean, this guy had all in an early age, he just couldn't be himself. And then his high school sweetheart kind of really touched upon this, like about how, you know, Tiger just felt at ease at her house. He felt comfortable. He felt like he could just be himself. The thing that he is himself when he was a golfer and he was on the field. You don't be that competitive. You don't have that heart to win if you weren't yourself. But yet he couldn't just lay back, crack a beer, say some things without the media hounding on every word he had. And just think of that. All his mistakes is now documented. It's video, it's photos, everything that the media puts out, everything that has been said said about him in either a good light or a dark light. His kids are going to know that. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because I'm pretty sure he's a private guy until it all came out. But knowing that his kids could just turn on the TV, listen to anything, read something and about their dad, and most of it is a negative light to him because of these certain circumstances. And I think that's what the documentary is kind of like showcasing, is that the man is a man. Yes, he made mistakes, but we need to move on from that, and we need to showcase his greatness as well. And they do. Now, I really like them highlighting the relationship between him and Steve Williams. I remember Steve Williams just really when he was caddying for him. And I thought it was interesting when the one moment when we find out, his dad passes, and it's really hard on Tiger. And you could see the video, the footage of him going into the funeral, interviews, that he really, that hit hard. You could just see, I don't necessarily think that was his downfall right there, but you could see that it really, really hurt him, and it really, he had to bounce back from that, and he bounced back in a big way. I think it was some of his best golfing, and I think he did it for his dad. But watching the whole relationship with him and Steve being interviewed, Steve is a funny guy. He said a couple of controversial things. He hates Phil Mickelson, which I think is hilarious. So him talking about Tiger and how he's kind of hesitant to, you could tell he's hesitant to really, I think he still has some stories, especially with a lot of the things that him and Tiger went through. I mean, hell, Tiger was his best man at his own wedding. So I think he's holding on to a lot of good, crazy ass maybe memories of him and Tiger. You can see he might be a little bit, he's hurt. He's very hurt that Tiger fired him after this whole debacle of the infidelity and all that stuff. And I felt like Tiger just didn't really trust anybody. But the one moment that really is interesting in the documentary is when Tiger does lose his father. And I forgot part of the document. I don't think it was the Masters, but he wins this big golf tournament, right? I think it's a major. It's one of the majors, and it's right after Tiger Woods' dad passes, or it's kind of like a little bit after Tiger Woods' dad passes, and it's this big first win, and everybody's there, everybody's just cheering for him, going for him. Steve's there, he sinks a putter, he wins the tournament, he hugs Steve, and he's really embracing Steve, and Steve's embracing him, but not in the way that I thought. Like, when they're embracing, it looked like Steve kind of wanted to let go of him, continue on with the presentation, this and that. I'm surprised Steve didn't really pull him in, didn't say any crazy words to him. I didn't see anything like whispering of him. Probably did, but it felt a little odd. It didn't really feel like a kind of a brother to brother kind of hug. It felt like Steve's like, okay, come in, Tiger, let it all out, let's get out of here. Maybe because that's Steve's attitude. I just felt that moment was a little weird, a little odd for some reason. But I mean, these guys have been together for so long, so when Tiger did move from him, I remember reading it and watching on SportsCenter, and I was kind of shocked myself, like, what was the reason for that? And the reason being is that Tiger, yes, his infidelity, his crazy amount of women. I think at one point everybody calculated that he slept with like 150 women. So one of his mistresses is interviewed, and that's Rachel. She was interviewed, and we all knew that was going to come because we saw it in the trailer. But it was interesting to see her take of the side, and listening to her listening to how her and Tiger hooked up, what their relationship was, other than sex. Like, you really could tell that she had Tiger's back. Even though she was in a documentary series, there wasn't really anything too negative actually from Tiger. Tiger was just being a human. Like, he probably felt him and his marriage, him away from all the time. I mean, he has a beautiful wife, he has 2 kids. But for some reason, that wasn't enough for Tiger. He wanted more. He wanted to explore more. He probably wanted to he went to rehab for sex addiction. I don't know how sex addiction, I don't know about but the man wanted to really let loose. And for Rachel and him, his relationship didn't really, it wasn't, they wanted to be together necessarily, where she wanted him to divorce the wife or anything like that. It was more of a connection, and that connection really showcased. I mean, of course they were doing Elaine really dirty, and the media really laid it on Rachel, really laid it on her. But listening to her talk and listening to her describe the relationship between her and Tiger, I mean, it wasn't even malicious, honestly, when she was talking about Tiger. It was really it felt honest. It felt like, listen, yeah, we were bad people. We did this to Elaine. And particularly the story where she said that when the tabloids got the Inquirer, oh my God, the Inquirer, geez, if you talk about villains, these guys pretty much freaking blacklisted Tiger Woods, or just pretty much extorted Tiger Woods, saying, you scratch our back, we will scratch yours, when they knew about an affair previous, but they got him to be in one of the magazines that the Inquirer is pretty much connected to. So it's a crazy story with the Inquirer, especially the guy who they interview. He seems like a sleazy ass guy. When the Inquirer got the story that these two, she was going to see him at a hotel, like they got the story, right? And nobody was paying attention to that story, but Tiger and Rachel actually called Elaine and explained the whole situation, like, this is all lies, we're friends, blah blah blah. And then Elaine, knowing she's not an idiot, she knows that something's up. And then that night when Tiger gets chased down and Elaine with the golf club, I mean, that was the night that Rachel was picked up the phone and it wasn't Tiger on the other line. Tiger was sleeping. So that was a crazy moment when she was explaining that, but then also explaining the aftermath, and then just seeing the videos of, my God, the reporters hounding the hell out of her. So if she didn't know what Tiger was going through when it came to the media, now she did. I'll never forget the documentary explained that Elaine's, I believe her friend in the documentary talks, says that yes, she got a big settlement out of the divorce, but money will not fix the family. Money won't bring our relationship back together. We will not be a happy family together like we planned to. Yeah, I got money, but that's not going to fix it. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. You know, I mean, how many people you know who parents who are divorced, whether one or the other, cheated on each other, and it's not money. It's not money with them doing this. It's not like, it's them probably wanting affection somewhere else. So Tiger was in that, he had the beautiful family, he had all the money in the world, yet he wanted the fast life. He wanted to live, and he wanted affection all over the place. And he was wrong for doing that to his wife and his family. When the PGA, I think what really got me in this documentary is when the PGA Tour had him apologize and they were really ripping on him. That's when I was questioning, like, and then he had Brian Gumbel, and he had somebody else talk about like the race issue between the PGA and Tiger Woods and how they really kind of shamed the hell out of him. That's when I was like, okay, a little bit of maybe I see that. You know, I see that they didn't necessarily have to really put the knife in his stomach and really twist it. He knows he made a mistake, but you have golf players who've done so much, like John Daly. Go look up John Daly, and yet you have the face of your whole PGA, right? You have the world's greatest golfer. The man made a mistake. So I felt like that was odd, bizarre that the PGA would really hammer. Even though he apologized, they really sentenced him to pretty much fucking 20 years in prison. It felt like, for something that was like, yes, it was bad, but come on, man. I mean, you don't have to go in on him that hard. So Tiger Woods, that's the big moment. You know, it's the big. He's after that, injuries, lots of injuries, playing through injuries, making his body worse, doing a lot of not unnecessary stuff, but he's doing a lot of combat training that doesn't even help his body as he's moving forward. The guy currently is 45, and he's already being held up by bolts and exoskeletons. Basically, the man is starting to become a Terminator, but he still has issues. He just had a back injury. He just had a back surgery recently, and this is recorded in 2021. So the man has been and I liked how they showcased the drive in him. I remember when I believe it was his leg, and he came back and he's basically playing with one leg, and the dude won the tournament. Like, holy shit, this guy is something else. This guy is a Muhammad Ali, is a Michael Jordan, is a Kobe Bryant, is an Allen Iverson. This dude is a beast, man. He's a Derek Jeter. This guy had that killer. That guy had that drive, and that's what I like. I like about this documentary of the back and forth. You have the his golf aspect, but then you have his personal life. Great narration too. The narration of putting the Earl Woods narration in the beginning, where we see him talk about his son and how his son is pretty much the god to the golf course. He's letting everybody see how much of a greatness they have, to treat him, to treat him kindly, to treat him with respect. And then you see kind of like when he got taken into custody, for mixing medications, and you see how much drained he was and how tired he was. Even though he was under the influence, I felt like that's him just overall trying to get up in the morning, And but Earl Woods knew what greatness he had, and it felt like Tiger in the beginning just couldn't get away from the grasp of Earl. But then later on in this present time, where his kids are a little bit more grown up, his life is a little, we technically don't know, he's still a private guy, but his life seems a little bit more stable. He has a girlfriend and stuff. His mom is still around. And I love seeing the mom too. The mom, you could tell, just really cares. And they tell you that the mom was really, even though she knew Earl had infidelity issues that maybe Tiger just latched onto, she still was a loyal wife. She still was a loyal mother. Like, you could tell that, yes, when Tiger apologized to the public the first time and then went to go hug his mom's like, yeah, you're a dumbass, but I love you, son. You could just feel that. So the documentary, man, the overlap with the speech of Earl Woods talking about his son, and then the events that are going to lead into the documentary, the comeback of Tiger Woods when he wins the 2019 Masters, amazing. Changing up his game a little bit. He's not the Tiger. I mean, he was really, it was an 11 year, 10 year, just down. He was just going. He was playing horrible. He'd win a couple tournaments here and there, but then there would be a couple years. I think 2 years or at least 1 year where he didn't win anything. He couldn't do anything. He was always injured. So seeing him win that 2019 Masters, and then building up to that second part, part two, and then seeing him hug his son. And then you see the parallels between him now with his son and when he was with his dad when he won that first big tournament. Magical, man. Very magical. This documentary really painted Tiger in a really good light. I honestly think they did. I think they really nailed it. It really reminded me of The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, but instead of, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were interviewed, Tiger Woods, of course, did not want to participate in this, but I really think they did a hell of a job. I really think they really showcased, yes, this man's a god in a golf course, but, they ended it in such a lighter and good note that this man has been through it all, yet we still root for him. Hell, I root for him. They tell you, before Tiger just was all business, but now it looks like he's actually having fun. He's signing autographs, he's high-fiving, he's smiling, he's joking. He seems like he's just having fun now, and that's what you want. I mean, at this age of Tiger Woods, and then trying to chase Jack, which a lot of people don't believe he can, but then again, you just like in your heart, you're just like, Tiger can catch up with those majors. I believe in Tiger, and I think a lot of people want to believe in Tiger. That's the beauty of Tiger Woods, is that I don't look at a man with, different kind of cultures outside his skin. I don't care if he's a black man, Asian man, a Mexican man. I don't care. He's a man. He's Tiger Woods. He's the man who brought me and my grandfather together, who rooted for this guy because this guy had a great smile. He had great competitiveness. He had that drive that we all wish we had. And maybe we do have. We just use it in different areas. This is a man who we root for them to win because we generally like the guy. So after watching this documentary and after even following him throughout my life, growing up with him, so to speak, I'm 31, he's 45, but I've seen some of the best, the highs. I saw it when he was at his lowest. I still root for the guy, and I still like the guy because I really think he's generally a good guy. He's made mistakes, but this documentary really showcased that this is the journey of those mistakes. This is the beginning. This is the journey that led to these mistakes, and this is the journey that led to him, hopefully, stability in his life, finally enjoying life. Tiger HBO documentary series. If you know who Tiger Woods is, but if you really want to get to really kind of know what the journey was, I think you should really watch this documentary series. I think it's as good as The Last Dance from Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. I think it really shows some insight a lot of Tiger Woods' life. Yes, there's some things that I know a lot of people are going to want in this documentary series that they kind of skip through, or they just don't really talk about it. I know a lot of people wanted to hear about his college years because he was really dominant there, maybe more of his dominance in the golf course. But I really appreciate how they balanced it of showcasing his dominance, his rise, his fall, just that American tale. But I really appreciate how it doesn't make him look bad at all. It just makes me appreciate knowing that, you know what, he's a human being, and you could just see it. Just look at his face, look at the footage, look at his face, look at his body language. You could just tell what kind of, you could always tell what kind of person somebody is, but if you really kind of look, you know, even when he's out there in Vegas and partying it up, you could tell he's looking to have a good time. You know, you could tell he's there in Vegas, not just to gamble. But then you could see the body language, the face, when everything starts going downhill. And then the one takeaway I have is you could see his face and his body language when he wins that 2019 Masters and he goes straight for his son. Fantastic documentary series. I definitely give it 5 out of 5. Check it out. 2 parts, about, I believe, an hour long each. I want to let me know what you guys thoughts on if you've seen the documentary series, and what are your thoughts on overall Tiger Woods. Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Let me know. I am Dan Domenic, Daniel's son, and please subscribe to the channel. Click on the notification bells to get more videos. I got more documentary series reviews on the way, and yeah, I am out of here. See you.